Hello everyone, my name is Mason Allen Buskirk and I'm 19 years old and I'm going to be a sophomore at East Stroudsburg University. Most people call me Mace in terms of a nickname, and I wouldn't mind it if you would refer to me to that as well. And I'm relatively new here at YouTube. If you would be so kind as to subscribe to my channel, I would think that is very polite, and I promise I'll subscribe back to you in return. In terms of things that I like, one of my greatest passions is steam locomotives, that big machine which opened up the Industrial Revolution and was the first form of high-speed transport. If you look in my list of channels, you see I have all too many videos about steam locomotives and videos about classical music, another one of my greatest passions, as I also happen to have my own radio show, Symphonic Masterpieces, that I host twice a week, every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. and every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also very much am an enthusiast of the United States, and I consider myself a patriot of this country as well as God and the Bible and our founding fathers, and the Bill of Rights and many other artifacts of the U.S., which I hope will stay with us forever. One of my favorite foods happens to be sushi and sashimi, that very great Japanese delicacy. I could eat it all day, but unfortunately it's one of the foods for the wealthier people. And in terms of things I do not like, political philosophies like communism, socialism, and fascism. Philosophies which I believe have very much attempted to interfere with the privileges and rights and other gifts that the United States was intended to have by our founding fathers. And they've never succeeded in making any country prosperous. I will guarantee you that much. And in terms of where I'm from, I've always lived in Pennsylvania, Cookletown in Monroe County to be exact. Now, many people believe that I have an accent, although despite being from the United States, it is not from any other country whatsoever, I assure you that much. However, I'll get into that later. I have a mother and a father and a brother, and many pets, including 3 cats, a canary bird, and many chickens that lay us eggs outside. My hobbies include, like I mentioned before, model railways. I also very much like to participate in sports whenever I get the chance, and I also love games like chess and checkers. And one of my greatest passions in terms of hobbies that I'm most active in is singing. I happen to be in the a cappella ensemble and the concert choir. In fact, I shall sing a piece right now by Giuseppe Verdi, Vesosette ninfe belle. Vesosette ninfe belle, che tutte vincete, le più vaghe pastorelle, fa la 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 la. And that is but an excerpt from that composition. I highly recommend you look up the composition in its entirety in a video here on YouTube, as YouTube is not unwanting of videos concerning classical music. And as for something unusual, I suppose you could say the most unusual part about me is the accent which many people believe I have. Many people believe it's from Great Britain or Australia or New Zealand. However, I suppose you could say the only reason I have an accent whatsoever is just because I believe in proper English pronunciation, and I also tend to use words which are occasionally used in other English-speaking countries, like the word drongo, which is an Australian word for a stupid person. But that's another story. Anything else I might like to share? Well, one thing I might like to share is that I happen to be Danish. Danish in descent, however, not by birth. Although I do know a little bit of the Danish language, such as Du forstår englet dansk, nej desværre. Du forstår englet engelsk, nej desværre. I was asking, do you understand a little bit of Danish? Or do you understand a little bit of English? Don't understand? Uh, well, that's a little bit of a language lesson for you. And as for a career, I don't know exactly where I'll be in the next 10 or more years, but I'm hoping on getting a part-time job at a local radio studio right now, which is looking for spare DJs. And I hope it's a little something that'll help me go up in the world. And last but not least, a surrounding object, I have this big book over here. The Big Book of Trains by Brian Hollingsworth. It's one of my favorite pieces to read in my spare time. It's just full of these big illustrations of locomotives from around the world. And I'm very much a fan of books with big technical illustrations. Here's one of my favorites. Right here, it's called the Duke Class 440, which worked for the Highland Railway in Scotland. But once again, that's another story. So, very happy to have had the privilege of introducing myself here on YouTube for this class Communication Studies. I hope to hear from you all in the future. And please subscribe. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mason Allen Buskirk, signing off.